Alrighty.
We cracking these?
Cracking.
Ow!
It just feels like you're cracking up a bit. I said,
A little sip.
cheers.
Cheers. We're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Is this your first podcast? I'm so sorry for anyone who just heard me swallow.
Yeah, me too.
You don't realize until it's right in your throat. Like,
yeah, it's like I could hear you swallow, but I wasn't going to say anything about it.
Yeah.
So it's fine. Like, it's just social norms, right?
It's all those noises, like people that when they're eating on a podcast and you see it.
Oh my gosh. My mother-in-law's friend is obsessed with the AMDR or
ASMR.
ASMR.
I think AMDR is a treatment, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah, because my brother-in-law's wife does it.
Ugh.
Really?
I hate the sound of it. She falls asleep to it at night.
ASMR. I was talking about AMDR.
Oh.
ASMR? It's a weird thing.
I don't like it one bit.
It's kind of like I can put up with any of that stuff. It's when it's like the most famous ASMR person is a 13-year-old, or when she started was a 13-year-old girl.
Really?
Yeah. It's like, because I know that there's like a weird sexual component of enjoyment to ASMR.
It's weird.
The fact that everyone's like, yeah, the biggest YouTuber in that is a 13-year-old with braces and red hair. How is that
wrong?
Okay?
Wrong.
Yeah. And everyone's like, good on her. Wait a minute. Let's just not think about what might be happening.
It's so creepy. I don't like how it sounds. I just sit back and I'm like, ugh. I can't do it. I really can't.
Have you seen some of them? They're the best one I've heard, and I mean best as in it's so disgusting, but it was so popular.
The AMDR.
ASMR.
Oh, I'll get it one day.
AMDR is treatment.
What is AMDR treatment for?
I think it's like a rapid eye movement thing, isn't it? It's that treatment for like trauma.
You're right. That's why it's in my head, because I've heard my husband is looking at that treatment. But I don't know for what.
I've heard good things.
Yeah.
There's so many treatments out there. I want to try ketamine treatment.
Oh, I've heard good things about that.
MDMA treatment, just because it's so interesting.
It is.
You know?
I've had a lot of different treatments over my life, and that's why my husband and I actually were recommended for AMDR. So that's why, because it's supposed to help with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yep.
And so they keep suggesting it for both of us, and we haven't tried it yet.
Yeah.
We haven't found the person.
Well, unfortunately, my brother-in-law's wife is in West Virginia, so she's a little bit far. But there's something to do with, when you're in deep sleep, it's like REM is rapid eye movement.
Yes.
Like deep REM. It's that. Basically, they harness your deep, deep sleep, and you have this rapid eye movement. And, it allows you to go a few layers deeper and find out some stuff about yourself.
Oh, I like that job.
Yeah, I know. I want her to do one on me, because I recently just found out I'm on the spectrum for Asperger's.
Really?
Yeah, it explained so much though.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I've spent a lot of time with you, and I wouldn't be like, man, that guy has Asperger's, but like I could see it.
It's like, so when they visited last time, she just randomly asks me out of nowhere. She goes, did you have to train yourself to look at people in the eye? And I just was like, oh yeah, I had to, because I normally will go here or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, but for me, I'm like, anything you do, you have to train to do if you're not used to it. So I just thought it was a normal question. And then last week when we're talking over the table about all these different things, being on the spectrum of Asperger's and autism, and I can't remember how it came up, but I just go, do me. And she goes, do you really want to? I'm like, yeah. She goes, well. So I found out I'm on it. It's because, and I've had these conversations with Stacey before, so I know that they won't even plant it. Right. It was like, oh yeah, like this and that. When I get into a conversation sometimes, and I've had to train it out of me, I have this gleeful joy of talking.
Absolutely.
That it's more like I'm enjoying expressing. Right. That I black out in a way. Like, people go like, oh, read their face and they're not interested. I can't see. Like at that point, I need a walker dog, because I can't see shit.
It's just gone. You're out. You're so excited. Your body's like, yeah, get me in this.
Literally.
Pick me, coach.
Yeah. There's that. And then also like intense focus where if I get deviated from my focus, I get so fucking angry.
Yeah.
You know? And she goes, yeah, that's Asperger's as well. Meaning like, you know, if I can shut people off and I'm in my zone,
right,
great. And if I see where I want to go and I'm on that track and people get in my way, I'm getting angry. Is the microphone getting too close to you?
No. I'm getting too excited.
Maybe you have it too.
Maybe. No, it's funny you say that. You black out sometimes in conversations.
Yeah.
Because I black out as well in a lot of conversations, but it's not out of excitement.
What? Not breathing enough?
I don't know what, but sometimes I'm just sitting there and I'll have this whole conversation with someone and I'm enjoying the conversation. And then I go back like and thinking about the conversation after it's ended. I'm like, I did not learn anything. Why did this happen to me? And I'll try to recall specific portions and I'm like, man, I suck. I'm not a good active listener at times.
So that book that everyone hears me talk about is Never Split the Difference.
Yes.
That book, it was like the pivotal point of me finding out the power of listening.
Absolutely.
And there was one statement in it that was, crap, I don't want to botch it. Whoever's talking the least is winning.
Yes, absolutely.
And it was like,
big mind blown.
What? It makes sense because you're getting the most information.
It's funny that you say that too, because I feel like in most conversations, I'm more of a listener as it is. Like I'll have a conversation, especially with my close friends, like someone like you or Hannah. I'll be like, boom, 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 let's go. But with people I don't know, I take the more reserved route and I like to listen. But then I go back and I'm like, man, like I know they told me all this stuff. I'm terrible. And then 90% of the time over time, I'll be like, oh yeah, like I can connect the dots back together. But for whatever reason, especially that like 10, 20 minutes after, I don't know if my brain's just tired at that point because I just listened to someone run their mouth for 10 minutes. Sorry, whoever's had these conversations with me. But yeah, it's very strange. But that book, I actually, I read that book for one of my law classes in college. Oh, you have
read it?
Yes, yes.
I'm so happy.
Yes. No, we read it. It was the arbitration or alternative dispute resolution class. So we learned about different ways that disputes can be.
I love it. Because once you read that book,
oh yeah,
it's like, oh, you listen? That's how you...
How's
that an alternative resolution?
But it's obvious.
How is that alternative?
It's so obvious because you're sitting back and you're like, of course if I listen. It makes so much sense. But until you see it on the paper, and the author, I can't remember his name right now, does such a
Chris Voss.
Yes, Chris Voss. Does such an amazing job of portraying, even in other elements of his book, that it all comes down to listening and determining the needs of the other people and being able to counteract them with your needs, but hearing each other. And I think that that's just such a powerful thing, not even in alternative dispute resolution, like mediation, arbitration stuff, but in life. Yeah. I mean, once you learn how to listen.
Oh, dude, the techniques in that book, I use all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, the never asking why.
Yes.
Which is tough because I'm learning Spanish right now.
Right.
And all I know is por qué. Like, I don't know why.
It's okay. Mine's donde está el baño.
El baño está aquella. Or allí. Sí. I've been learning. I'm on day 308 in a row now.
Oh my goodness. Look at you.
It's fun.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, anyway. So... But no, so that book, it's so ingrained in my brain now, where I was watching Mariana Van Zeller. She does, investigative journalism, like proper, no agenda, no like, well, this is why Trump's responsible, like actual shit. And she knows Spanish. And so obviously the subtitles, this was before I started learning. Every time the guy would say something that she's in reporting with, she'd say por qué. I'm like, oh, don't say why. It's too confronting. Like Chris Voss is talking in my head.
But there's two different ways to see the word why, in my opinion. So like for me, like, yes, I could see that it's very confronting. But a lot of times, like I'm a very, very, I want to know why. Not even because I'm questioning your reasoning, because I want to learn something from you. Like, why should I care about that? Why does this matter? What is your agenda behind this? What is my agenda? And while it is at times, especially in certain negotiations, a very kind of disputting word, like, why do you need that? But I also am one of those people that I have to question everything.
Oh, yeah.
So by asking why, like, why do you do podcasts, Blake? Like, it's just...
It's definitely, that's correct. With the book, though, it showed me how to ask why without using the word why.
Right.
So, and it makes sense because I'm just like you. Anytime, I want to know the layers below it. And if you can explain it and it makes sense logically, and again, this is my Asperger's apparently.
You know.
Look at now, I'm like wearing a badge of honor.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah, woohoo.
I support you.
I need to know the layers below it.
Absolutely.
And once you've explained the layers below it, I will never ask again.
Absolutely.
But if it is, hey, why? And the response is because I said so. Oof.
Ooh.
Nah. Like you're getting the opposite of what you want from me. And it was more having that empathy on the other side going, all right, this person doesn't want to tell me or doesn't know they need to tell me.
Right.
So by Chris Voss's techniques, I was just like, okay, that's an interesting point. So that I can understand it best and relay that to someone else who is going to probably ask me. And I would like to I'd like to be able to explain it to them. What is the reason of this rule?
Absolutely.
That, I mean, it's a lot longer than 3 letters of why.
Yes.
But I found, again, I used to be in a rush to be like, I want to know the answer. So I'd ask the shortest question.
Right.
Which I'd rather that with some people for me. Like Stacey the other day was like, Synda was crying in the car and she said, would you like to just go in and I'll stay with Sienna? I'm like, no, I want to carry her. That's not the question she was asking.
Right.
You know? And I said that to her after the 3rd or 4th time. I'm like, I'm happy to carry her. And then she's like, oh, would you just want to go in on your own? I'm like, no, I don't want to go in on my own.
Right.
And then I go to her, what are you really asking me? And she goes, can you go in? I'm like, yes.
You're like, can you go in is the simple answer because I can physically go in.
Yeah. But like, don't, because I've noticed she does this and I think her dad does it a lot as well. Like, instead of just saying like, do this.
Right.
Where I'm like, all right, now I understand because I'm a little bit on the spectrum apparently.
Well, and I think it's funny too because of how my life is. My husband's now out of the military, but there are rules, regulations, and people tell you what to do constantly. I mean, even me as a spouse, I don't get a lot of choices in things. Like my husband's going. Yeah. There's no choice. And so there is no why. Yeah. You can't sit back and ask the commander, why? Or that's just not happening. So I think it's interesting that as our life has evolved, we are learning how to deal with making those choices and asking why, because that was never a choice for us. He was told where to go, what to wear, where to eat, how to sleep, all this stuff. And so for us, it was always like, all right, that's what you do. And now that we're about a month out of that life, now we're sitting back and we're like, wow, it's pretty interesting out here in the real world. We can go where we want. We can go on a vacation. We can move houses. Like, this is awesome. So I think that having those experiences as well kind of trigger you and change your mind in the sense that it's like, okay, it's appropriate to ask why in different directions. But like on the flip side, we know what it's like to not be able to ask.
Yeah. There is something kind of freeing. There's that saying, discipline will set you free.
Yes.
And there is that freedom. That's my belief in why so many people are anxious now, is because we're aware of how many options we have.
Absolutely.
You know, like we like to blame social media and it plays a part on it. But the thing about it is, like right now, I'm 10 months into this journey of moving here and starting a business from scratch.
Absolutely.
So, you know, there's a lot of shit you have to dig through, but even like my inner circles are already saying to me like, why don't you just go get a job? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And I'm just, because already it's like, okay, this hasn't worked in 10 months.
Absolutely.
Like, and I'm still paying the bills, you know? So
the
like
bills
some
won't
of them,
stop.
the in-laws have been very generous to, you know, give their vacation home to us. Like, so that bill's not in, but that helps a lot. But by and large, it's, again, I'm starting a business literally from zero.
Right.
And yeah, it's too easy to be like, well, go and find a job. And I'm like, all right, but I'm going to go find a job and I'll be making the same as what I'm already making anyway right now. It's just, I know there's a paycheck coming later.
Absolutely.
But again, I know there's a paycheck until they don't need me anymore. And then it's like, bye.
Well, and then you also have to consider the freedoms that you have for working for yourself. Right now, like, if you had a 9-to-5 job, we probably wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah.
It's Monday. You and I would not be sitting here right now. And that's something that I consider as well when I've been looking at jobs and, you know, I've landed with Blake. And one of the things that...
she works for Blake Day, by the way, guys. Different Blake.
Different Blake Day. Different Blake.
We do have a very similar thing. It's weird. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
His last name's D-A-Y. Mine's D-O-Y-L-E.
I know. It throws us all off.
And I'm only 2 weeks older than him.
Well, and his girlfriend, Hannah, and I, we literally will be like, Blake Doyle, Blake Day. Other Blake is another way we refer to you, or...
Other Blake.
Our Blake.
Okay, so I'm other Blake.
You're other Blake, he's our Blake, and then we've got... Wait, are we talking about Blake Doyle or Blake Day? It is so confusing, but we love it.
Just call him B1. I'll be B2.
But see, you're not number 2. We love you equally.
I don't know. I think Hannah loves Blake a little bit more than
Okay, yeah. All right, Hannah, I'm sorry if you're listening to this. Obviously, you love Blake Day more. But
just a little bit.
But we yeah, all right. I'm just going to knock that off there. But Blake Day, working for him, there's a lot of really awesome things that come along with it. I get to travel. You know, my work day, I work from home for the most part. So there's freedoms in my day. If I have a doctor's appointment that I have to go to, not a big deal. I can go.
Yeah.
But for example, when I worked for Amazon, no hate to Amazon, because we all love the drop shipping.
Yeah, we like being on the customer side.
Yes. I didn't have those freedoms.
Yeah.
I sat at my desk for 10 hours a day. That was it. I had an hour break and 2 15 minutes. That's all.
And they probably as well, like, if you wanted to take that off, it's like, we're not getting paid for that.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is so ridiculous. It should be, you should be paid for the outcome.
Yes.
And that might not necessarily be an outcome of, well, you have to, achieve this, otherwise you don't get paid at all. But it's like, okay, part of your job is that you achieve whatever it is, like X amount of sales.
Absolutely.
What else? If you're in a production line, all right, you need to make sure that maybe if you can figure out a tripwire scenario where it's, okay, this person can come in and work for me at this hour, and then I'll do an hour of their shift.
Absolutely.
At the back end of mine. There should be because also with all like doctors, we work on their time. The thing that in Australia always bugged me, their shops like are open in the shopping malls from 8 a.m. maybe 9 a.m. and they close at 5 or 6. And then they wonder why they're struggling. And why online shopping's taking over. It's like, you guys are open when everyone's at work and shut. Like, you as a business, you'd be better off if you have a clothes open, like closed 9 till 6, open 6 till 10.
Absolutely.
Like, if you cut out those 8 hours and work 4 hours at the back end, yeah, you might not get the day shoppers, but everyone who's like coming home from work is going to shoot past. It never made sense to me, and then they wonder why they're failing.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's funny you say that, because especially with when I was working for Amazon, I had no time in my day. And my days off, I spent my days off stressing about having to go back in 2 days.
Oh, that's not fun.
So I wasn't getting anything done. And, by the time I'd get off of work, I got off of work at 10 p.m. The stores were closed. I couldn't go shopping. I started work around 9, 10. So sometimes I could get things in the morning. But when it comes to doctors or anything, that wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you have to look back and you're like, well, my mental and physical health is suffering. I'm making great money at this job, but my mental and physical health is suffering. And it was on so many different levels. My friends, family, everyone would be like, hey, like, are you good? Are you okay? And I mean, it was a hot mess. But when I moved over with Blake about a year ago now, that kind of all changed. And it was kind of what you said. It was very much in the sense that We're goal oriented.
Yeah.
Blake trusts us to do our job. We're going to do it. And if you need to take care of a personal thing, a doctor's appointment here and there, take care of it. He doesn't care. But make sure what you have to get done gets done.
Yeah.
And I think that type of working environment, particularly for someone like me, is very healthy. Because I'm a workaholic. I like to work. I like to get my things done. I want to make sure it's done right. And I care a lot about what I do.
Yeah.
So that they don't have to micromanage me. Whereas Amazon, they have to micromanage you because they have thousands and thousands and thousands of employees.
See, I think micromanaging though, if you had just a 15-minute meeting every day, hey, Jordan, did you do what you said you were going to do yesterday? You don't have to micromanage because that was I was first put off hourly wages at 19.
Okay.
Again, I love my systems, Asperger's. But at 19, we were given 3.5 hours to set up the bar, and there was 2 levels. So there was 2 people on the first level to set up that level. Second level, 1 person. I figured out the way to do it that it took me an hour and a half. The first time I learned that I hate hourly wages was when I went downstairs, hey guys, I'm all done. Oh, awesome. Can you go clean the bin room? What kind of reward is that? So you're saying I'm better at my job and now I have to go scrub shit covered floors as a reward.
Absolutely.
And do you think that I could tell them, hey, I can do this in an hour and a half. I'll just come in 2 hours later and they'll get paid the same thing?
Absolutely. No.
Absolutely not. So that was when I realized I fucking hate hourly wages because now we're all selfish beings.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to be motivated for myself. Now, motivated for myself doesn't mean that I'm necessarily bad because motivated for myself is doing a good job for the person.
Absolutely.
Because, again, we're all selfish beings. If I do a shit job, you're going to be like, cool, fuck off next time.
Yeah, exactly. Goodbye.
Yeah. But I just would rather, if I'm getting paid hourly, I'm going to do the bare minimum.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going
to take your time and maybe go to the bathroom 2 or 3 times in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're getting paid.
100%. I may as well. Well, that's what I ended up doing at this bar was, again, because it was so big, I was basically just left to my own and they'd check up now and then to see how I'm going and if I'm on track. So I'd set up 80-90% of it. I'd leave some coasters. I haven't done the coasters yet or the napkins.
Little things.
The things that really will take me 2 minutes. And I go in, this is iPhone 3 days.
Oh,
so
you're really dating yourself
old
here.
school. Yep, you can count by how many rings are in my legs. I'd sit on the toilet, and I'd just be playing games.
Hourly work right there.
Literally, and I'd wait, and I'd hear Blake, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just in the bathroom.
Give me a moment.
Oh, yeah, sorry. And then I come out, hey, sorry, just had to do a doozy. And then they were saying, they'd be like, oh, okay, cool. How much you got left? Oh, I've just got this, and this left. And then I can go on my break. Yeah. All right, no worries.
Great job.
Yeah, great job. But then the other time when I really started getting pissed was, again, I was so fast at serving people efficiently that, again, keeping my bar clean was the second priority. Serving the customers was first. So I remember once the manager, who again loved to micromanage, came up to the head bartender and he goes, why is it so messy? And then goes and checks my numbers and I'm second highest seller in the entire bar out of 14 people.
Wow.
And the other one is a chick who everyone's just waiting to just line up with. And he's like, and it irked me so much that I was like, I am killing it. I'm doing the one thing that is important to this business, and I'll clean the bar second.
Right.
The
alcohol sales are the number one thing.
Little bit. Yeah, bringing in the money.
Because the more they drink, the more they buy.
I miss those bartending days. When people would come up and they're like, can I get a... And she's got her teeth available and I can see them. Really? And I go, red wine? She goes, how did you know? Your teeth, love.
See, I never did bartending, serving, anything like that. I went the alternative route, which is sometimes scarier to others. Preschoolers.
Ooh. To be fair, they kind of act the same.
Yep, that's true. Yeah, I did. That was my thing. I didn't go into food service or anything like that. I love children. And I was like, I'm going to be a preschool assistant teacher. This is going to be great. Oh, well, it was great. I loved every day of it. But you don't realize how 3-year-olds can get into so many different things in so many different ways until you have like 20 of them in a room.
Mm.
I mean, I pulled a string, a yarn, 10 foot. We had to call 911 because we kept pulling it out of his ass.
How do you... Wait.
He ate it.
He ate it and went through?
It went all the way through. And
he needs to work on his digestion.
Oh, I know. This kid's like, well, I'm guessing he ate it a few days prior. And then it worked its way through. This kid's screaming in the bathroom. And we're like, what's going on? So I run in there. You know me. And I see it. And I'm like, oh, it's just a string from his shirt. No big deal. Bare hands. Pull it.
Keeps going.
It keeps going. I'm like, manager, we need some help in here. And they're like, just put on some gloves and pull it out. I'm pulling.
Is it? See, today that'd be counted as kitty fiddling. And you'd probably be
probably
all over the Me Too movement.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd be in so much trouble.
Do you know what I would do, though?
What?
I would tell the kid, teach him how to throw up, get the other end and go like, look, a magic trick.
God, you're terrible. This kid was so scared. I felt so bad. I ended up saying, we need to call 911.
I'd be scared too if I ate 10 feet of yarn.
It was literally the EMTs because they came and got it out because they were worried it could be tied around some digestive something.
Yeah,
that's why
true.
we stopped. After
that's why you need the magic trick. You can check.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a body floss.
Flossing out the intestines. Don't mind if I do. No, they measured it. It was 10 feet long.
Jeez.
And one kid was shoving poop in their nose. Like, every day you wake up and you go to preschool and you're like.
Kids are wild. Even Sienna, she's only 7 months, but I love how casual she is with a good old vomit.
Yeah.
She's just like, duh, and just on with the day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I see people make more of a reaction when they fart in public.
It's so true.
It's just a drive-by vomit. Like, which today I was carrying her above my head and like she went and then just dribbled straight. Like it was like I got bird shit on my face basically.
Nice.
Thankfully it was just dribble, but I was like,
you're like, this is not ideal.
Learn to do not salivate, please.
Oh no. You've got a long time before that happens.
Yeah, I take my hat off to people like you who did that because it's like caring for your own kid is hard enough.
Yeah.
Like it's easy. I get that, but it's also hard. But caring for other people's kids and then also like wanting to be a bit harsher for them. And then the parent coming, like I lost, because I did that for, I did like a little boot camp for a high school, a primary school. So, and a high school actually. All girls. That was fun.
Yeah. So they loved you.
Yeah. To the point where I'm like, all right, 6 feet, please. And it's not even COVID yet. Yeah. I implemented 6 feet before it was cool.
You should trademark it.
Yeah.
Right.
Fucking government. I got basically booted because I was not, what I heard from it, like after 2 years of super success, it only grew. Basically, like
right.
It got popular and popular and popular because I wasn't so serious. So like a girl would be struggling and I'd be like, she's not taking it serious. So all the girls are doing it, like let's say it's a wall sit and one's not doing it. And I go, all right, well you guys got to keep going until she does it. And so like the team, like they'd start ganging up on her.
Yeah. Like
yelling at her. And that's apparently me. And I'm like, no, bullshit. You're not slacking out. And I'm going to use social pressure to teach you a life lesson too of you either pull the team down or you lift it up.
Absolutely.
Then there was other things like a girl was on her phone the whole time. And I ended up, like one of the girls goes, she's messaging blah, 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 some boy she's texting. Yeah. So I go, all right, boom. I go, if you don't put your phone away, I'm texting him saying you love him. And she's like, no, you won't. So she kept texting, took it off her hands. The phone was locked.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you can't get it because you don't have my PIN code. And I go, all right, Siri will tell me though. And I go to the girls, all right, hey, what's his name? Say it's Tim for this example. It's Tim Jones. All right. Hey Siri. So I'm pressing the button down so I don't need to have a vocal.
PIN code.
Yeah. Hey Siri, tell Tim Jones, hey, comma, this is going to sound really weird, but I think I'm falling in love with you. Do you want to send this? Send. No!
Yeah, no, kids are definitely interesting. I will say, as like someone, I've worked with kids almost my entire life. And even recently, I'm about to finish my teaching certificate. That's a whole nother side story. But as educators or people who are watching your kids, we love your children like they're our own. I don't even have kids, but I can tell you that the love I feel for each of my students, I would do absolutely anything for them. Where it gets difficult is parents. The kids are tough. Don't get me wrong. Like you've got attitudes, you've got this and that, but we love the kids. We do it for the kids. We don't do it for the parents necessarily, but they're the parents. And I am very on the strong belief that parents have the right to know what's going on at school with their kids. Absolutely. Does that change how I'm going to do things in the classroom or wherever we're at? No, because I believe in a belief system in a classroom where, you respect each other, you participate, teamwork, all these different things. And that's kind of a belief system for my life in general. It doesn't just apply to my, I've worked with 3 to 10-year-olds and sometimes even older. It doesn't just apply to them. That's how I choose to live. And so in my area where I'm educating these children, I'm going to love them as hard as I can because a lot of the kids don't get that wherever they're going next. And I'm going to expect them and teach them to live by my beliefs. And when I say this, all right, all the people who are like, politics, no, not religious beliefs, not political beliefs.
Yeah, just core values.
Core values. And that was something, shout out to my mom and dad, that they really instilled into me growing up is, just be nice. Like it doesn't take anything to be nice. Stand up for yourself when you need to and just be respectful to your environment. Outside of that, have fun, have a good time. But, if you live by respecting people and showing people that they have value too, your life is going to be so much easier.
Yeah. But that's the tricky thing with, I'm already thinking, like, because Stace wants to homeschool, but I'm like, I don't know, I have my hesitations with that too, because, social development.
Absolutely.
You need to be not bullied, but like ostracized. You need to face adversity. You need all that. And because I went through all that a lot. Yeah. A lot of it I realized later was internal.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was me, taking shit too serious rather than lean into the joke.
Right.
Which then makes you like Teflon.
That's pretty typical for kids though.
Yeah, but if you don't experience that as a kid, you've got less hope of getting out of that as an adult. But where it gets tricky, back to the original point, was you got so many different teachers with so many different beliefs, wacky or not.
Absolutely.
I've had great teachers. I've had teachers that, one told me, all right, cool, Blake, like the girls now like the funny guy, but you know what they care about later? Money.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
fuck you.
Yeah. I look back at it now, I'm like, there was elements of that are true, like in support, but not how I perceive. Anyway, there was that. Then I had another guy who, he was gay, and what are 14 and 15-year-old boys going to make jokes about?
Being gay.
Yeah.
You're gay.
Agree with it or not.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
But he would have like rants. Someone yelled out, it was either homo or they coughed. And it wasn't even that. It wasn't even related to his sexuality. It was just a cough because he said to be quiet, and someone went,
yeah.
And so he held us in for 4 lunches in a row because none of us would rat out who it was. And then he'd have rants yelling at us about, and he'd be yelling like, oh, it's because I'm a faggot. You're like, whoa, no one said that. Like, he's going ham at us. And I look back at that now, I'm like, my parents paid a lot of money for that guy to yell at us.
Yeah.
over something where he had his own demons, and my heart goes out to him.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, dude, if you're going into a school with 15-year-old boys, you're going to get bullied.
Oh, yeah. You got to have a thick skin.
Oh, and especially at this school, it was, some years could be $50K.
Right.
So you're getting good pay. You're going to have to
buck up a little.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny when you say that as well. One of my favorite teachers, I always come back to her. She was my 3rd grade teacher, and she's disabled. Couldn't really move around that much. Had trouble, right? But the reason why she was always my favorite teacher is that she showed us the respect in the classroom until we didn't earn it anymore. So what I mean by that is she would never come in and yell at us if we messed up. She'd sit us down and be like, hey, what the hell? I mean, not in those words. We were in 3rd grade. But that was the gist.
I'd say be like, get your shit together.
Yeah, come on, kids. Pull it together. What the fuck? No. She'd be like, okay, like, what's going on? Why did this happen? How can we fix it? We'd create a plan.
Like it, bro.
We'd create a plan to fix it. And she didn't treat me like a 3rd grader. I really struggled with bullying through elementary school. I was the little kid who was the youngest in the class. So for whatever reason, I was also the 3rd Jordan in the class. So I was Jordan number 3.
J3?
Yeah. Yep. See, that's why I have an aversion. That's why I have an aversion. I was J3 and J1 was the most popular girl. And J2 was like, you know, the cool guy. And then there was
also a guy as well.
Yes. And then there was J3, who is me, the short little youngin. And so I dealt with a lot of kids. They were just assholes. Like, that's just the matter of the fact. Looking back, you're like, whatever. But at the time,
it's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. But she always showed me the respect as if I were J1. And that's what always meant the most to me. Even at the end, like, she would come every day and I needed a lot of help. I struggled in math, which is kind of funny now. But I really struggled in math. And she would take the extra time to not just be like, nope, wrong, but be like, hey, this is what you did wrong. Let's show you. And how can we correct it? And would teach me and showed me that respect, which none of my other teachers at that school did. I was kind of the kid that they like put in the corner with the chocolate milk. They're like, yeah, sit there and drink that while we do the big boy stuff.
Yeah. It's tricky, like, for teachers, though, because you think that's, I don't know how it was. I guess it's different in primary because it's just the one teacher with they've got 20 kids for the year.
Absolutely.
But then when it gets to high school, you've got a teacher is teaching hundreds of kids every single week, that it becomes a thing of sink or swim, bro.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, we love to blame the teachers. And definitely, I've said this on the podcast before, I had one teacher that was physics and I had my other teacher that I had for 3-unit maths, which is like numbers. They're both numbers. 3-unit maths, 10 times harder than the physics numbers. Yet I was second last in the class for physics because the teacher was trash.
Right.
And then I went and got a tutor. My mum got me a tutor. Second and third in the class after that. But then my 3-unit maths guy, he was like this Einstein looking guy, crazy looking.
We all had one of those.
Yeah, Canadian, so super polite.
Yeah.
But even to this day, I speak fondly of him because he made something so fucking boring so entertaining that I wanted to know it.
Absolutely.
You know, like how exciting can differentiation be and figuring out parabola?
No, but at the end of the day, the amount of excitement, I truly believe this, that a teacher puts into and the amount of passion that they put into their teaching. Yeah, you're always going to have those shit bags. That's just the truth of it. There's always going to be that kid that sits in the corner that's too cool to be there. But if a teacher puts in passion and excitement into their teaching, students are going to get that excitement. It's hard not to. Like, maybe the first day they're like, what the hell is wrong with this guy?
Absolutely. We're like, this guy's a whack job.
Right.
He's on meth.
But by the end, you're probably like, hey, that guy was one of my favorite teachers, or I learned a lot in that class. And I think that works wonders. And even like teaching, I apply so many different things I've learned from my teaching certification and just my experience with it to everyday business. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You're applying skills for like 7-year-olds to like 35-year-old men.
To be fair, us 35-year-old men are still 7-year-olds in a 35-year-old man body. And
that's why it works so well. But you sit back and you're like, come on. Like, and a lot of people were like, why are you doing a teaching certificate? It makes no sense, like, with what you're doing. And I agree. It didn't make much sense. However, one, I felt like I'd always wanted to do that. I want the option to be a teacher someday, and now I have it. And two, people don't realize that wherever you are in life, whether you're a physical teacher or not, you can take the role of being a teacher in someone's life.
Yeah.
And the skills that you learn with how to portray information to people and effectively do so in a way that they're actually learning and they're enjoying what they're learning is really hard to do.
Yeah.
So learning those skills up front and just black and white, like, hey, here's some tactics, give them a try. And having the experience in classrooms, trying them out on 7-year-olds who aren't judging you. They're up there like they're not worried about it. Has really shown me that in the business world, you're kind of a teacher wherever you go.
Yeah.
And I love that piece of it. And if that's all I ever use it for in my life, I think it was money well spent.
Well, I was saying that to the new girl we hired for sales. And I said to her, people just don't really buy something because they don't understand it.
Right.
That's all it is, you know? And it's as your job as a salesperson is just to make sure they understand it. And that also means not over explaining it.
Absolutely.
You know, for the, because she's at the pest control, I go, you can explain like, oh, we use a non-repellent, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
You're actually selling me out of the sale because now I'm confused and I need to go think about it.
Absolutely.
Versus just say, all right, for this product, we just go, it's an area around the house to stop the bugs from coming in. The reason we do that is because, I mean, you don't want them
bugs
coming in.
going in.
There we go.
Yeah, and
I get that.
Yeah, we run into that a lot too with what we do in public adjusting. Public adjusting is I'm not a public adjuster, but I assist public adjustings. And it's a very niche type of thing where the average person, you walk on the street and you say, yeah, I work as a office manager or paralegal for a public adjusting company. They look at you with a completely blank stare.
Yeah.
Because public adjusting is one of those things that you don't even know about until you need it.
That's why I enjoyed your project so much. And I'm like, I want to do more of these because I'm like, I'm just learning so much.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't know about it until you need it. And it's one of those things that you learn. It's kind of like not overselling it. The first time, I'll tell you, I got hired at this company and it had been explained to me like 14 times in the most complex way. And I still, like a week into my employment, they're like, oh, okay, so what's the company? Crickets. I would try so hard to like figure out how to like explain it, how everyone else has been explaining it around me, but it was complex. And when I was able to boil down, once I was able to dive in and get into it and boil down what we're truly getting here, people don't look at me anymore with crickets. When I'm like, oh yeah, this is what we do. It's easy. It's one sentence. Boom.
Yeah.
Done.
I was going to say everything can be brought down to one sentence. What's the sentence that you tell people?
I say that we represent homeowners in property damage claims against their insurance companies. So it's very simple, and there's so much more that goes into it.
Yeah.
Do not get me wrong. But for like the average Joe like you who comes up to me and is like, I don't know what the heck you all do, it's very easy for them to say, okay, I'm a homeowner. I have property damage. I'm fighting my insurance. I need your help.
Yeah.
And so that one blanket statement answers all those questions.
Yeah. Yeah, we help you get what you should be paid by an insurance company.
Exactly. And I think that a lot of people, the only confusion I've ever come up from it is the typical confusion. So you work for the insurance company or you work for the homeowner? And that's why that first line is so important. No, we represent you, the homeowner.
Yeah.
And I've found that since I've been able to simplify it, like there's so many branches you can go off and be like, we do this, we do that, we do this and that. But since we've been able to simplify it personally, well, one, my parents finally know what I do. So that's a benefit. And two, you're able to do it in that quick elevator pitch. Oh, here's my card. You have property damage? Give us a call. Like, was it from a storm? Okay, awesome. Even with my realtor, we're in the process of buying a new house right now. She was like, yeah, I have this house that got hit by the tornado recently and it needs a new roof. Excuse me? Here's my card. Give us a call,
That's great.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, because remember I said to you guys as well, there's that, I think the opportunity for you is now, for you guys now, is having that value funnel on your website.
Yeah.
So that whenever shit hits the fan, like the Fort Myers one recently, instead of like, I think I mentioned this to Hannah about, it's like the bait and switch.
Yeah.
Where it's a bait and switch in value, not in like you think you're buying this, now you're getting that. It's, here's some help to find the right roofer.
Absolutely.
We don't do roofing. So people will be like, oh, okay. And now in that value funnel of how to find the right roofer, they're finding out what a public adjuster is, and if they need it,
Yeah.
now it's a sale because they understand it.
Absolutely. Well, and I would also say, and this is something that we did a lot in our video content with you, is transparency, particularly in the roofing and public adjusting world, is so important, and it's not readily applied.
Yeah.
People, after a storm hits, you've got hundreds of roofers and different people walking around. These people just experienced mass devastation in some courts, and some guy in his little polo is walking up, knock, knock, knock. You need a roof? No
Yeah.
shit, they need a roof. Like, they're trying to figure out where their cat is right now because it flew out somewhere. Like, and it's so difficult. I would say, like, as a homeowner myself, I would be so upset if someone just walked up to me right after, like, our roof just blew off and was, like, giving me their sales pitch.
Yeah. It's
And
a complete lack of empathy.
lack of empathy. Like, we understand that that is the best time as public adjusters and, you know, being intertwined for myself in roofing communities. I understand that that is the best time to go find people that need roofs. However, is it really worth, you know, if you wait 3-4 days, maybe let them, like, figure out where their stuff is for a second.
Yeah.
You're still probably going to make that sale maybe even more effectively because you weren't the asshole that was knocking down the door if the door was even there. So.
Yeah, it's timing for sure.
And empathy. Even.
Empathy is the biggest one,
Yeah.
you know? And also, all they have to do in the short term in that example is get a tarp over.
Yeah.
They don't have to fix it. And that's the thing that's kind of, I guess, frustrating for a lot of people is it's like they want you to close the sale now.
Right.
And they're going, dude, I've got other shit to focus on first. Like, can we just take a step back?
Yeah.
But that's why you guys are in a unique scenario where it's you can lead with something that helps them for their problem there.
Absolutely.
And then simultaneously educates them on something they may have not even realized they needed. Where, the day adjusting is in a very unique scenario.
Absolutely.
With the roofing one, it's slightly difficult because it's like, it's a roofer to help you find the right roofer. Already my alarm bells go, all right, you're going to convince me of why I should use you.
Right. Right.
You know?
Well, even our roofing company up in Indiana that I work for, we get a lot of salesmen that come to us because their companies want them to just pound, 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 pound. They don't care what the homeowner's like physical, mental status is. As long as they're capable of holding that pen and signing the paper, they should be signing it. And we get a lot of salesmen that come to us because that's not how we run it up there.
Yeah.
We would rather make quality sales over quantity sales. So if someone doesn't want to use us, that's fine. We're not going to waste our time anymore on that one. We're going to go find another quality sale.
Yeah.
Instead of bugging the crap out of people constantly. Like recently, I just got 6 text messages from a company because I was trying to schedule a cleaning appointment for my house. And they've texted me every day. Hey, you ready to schedule? You ready to schedule? Yeah, I was ready to schedule 3 days ago, but honestly, your text just pissed me off. I'm not using you anymore. I found someone else who didn't text me 6 times.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I think that, and it wraps into the empathy and the transparency and the awareness of who you're talking to, and even kind of wraps into your Asperger's because, you know, the eye contact and involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, if you can really pull all that together, you're going to have a successful business. It's just making sure that you're not the person who's willing to slice the other person in the back or throw your customers under the bus to make a sale.
Yeah. And they need to know when you're calling back.
Yeah.
Because I have one guy who he wants me to do some content for his podcast, but it's his business partner's like, it's a classic, like, I just need to speak to my husband. Oh, boy.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
Here we go. But I stopped following it up. And he goes, no, I need you to harass him. I'm like, dude, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. Like, one, I'd rather just go and meet more people.
Yeah.
Like, I'll follow him up, but I mean, I can't be that guy.
Right.
Like, even when following up, even with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, have we spoken last about something we're going to do?
Right.
If not, call it, just see how they are.
Right.
Not,
right.
hey, yeah, let's do more videos.
Absolutely.
Because it's just like, fuck off.
I know. Yeah. Well, exactly. And I think it also goes with the fact that people expect, for whatever reason, and I don't know if this is like a new COVID thing, like an implication of it, but people expect when they call someone on the phone that the person that's answering that phone is going to be a complete jackass. Like, just straight up. Like, I've had so many homeowners call us and I answer the phone. hi, like this is Jordan with Day Adjusting or Midwest Storm. Like, how are you today? And they pause for a second. They're like, She's like asking me how I am. And then they tell me and I'm like, all right, well, how can I help you? Oh, I'll get let's get this figured out for you. And after I hear it every day. Well, thank you for being so kind. And I'm sitting back. I'm like, I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing anything special here. The only thing I'm doing is putting on a kind tone and trying to help you, which isn't that what I'm answering the phone for?
Yeah.
And I think since COVID in particular, everyone you call does not have time for you. They're irritated that you're calling, even though that's their job. And they just like, your issue is just annoying to them. And since that changed, like even I experience it every day. I'm like, I'm calling you because I need help with this, right? You're the person who says to call. Like, what do you want me to do here? And I think that that is a major thing that we've experienced since COVID is people have lost, and whether it be on the phone, over email, even face to face, people have lost that ability to just be, and do their jobs. It's insane to me that people are like just so put off by like, oh, like let's meet in person. Oh, can we do a Zoom meeting? All right, let's do a Zoom meeting. What time can you do? Well, I can't do this time, and this time. All right, do you want to do a phone call?
Yeah, just tell me when you can.
Yeah, right? Like, just tell me when you can. Like, I don't understand.
I think that was happening before COVID, though. COVID definitely exacerbated it. But I remember when I was in the dating scene, good old Tinder, and I was astounded at how many people, just women, guys, how many. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to be a patronizing. What is it?
A patronizing pair?
Nah, man.
Is that what you just said?
Nah, I was going to say patriarchy. One of those patriarchal assholes. Anyways, I digress. Yeah, so the amount of times you'd match with someone and you'd be chatting and you're like, hey, let's catch up. Oh, not just yet. Okay, dude, how am I going to get to know you over this occasional text message?
Absolutely.
How's your day been? Yeah, it's really good.
It's the same thing.
I want to get to the chat in 3 hours of hanging out with you. I will know if I want another 3 hours or I want to run the fuck out. Yeah. But so many people would, like, I would not get any girls matching it. It was so rare that they want to meet up. And if they did, it was just like, this chick's a little bit weird.
Right.
I'm like, why are the weird ones? Okay, maybe I'm the weird one. But I always wanted to, or even call. Hey, can we call? Oh, yeah. What?
Yeah, that, I don't understand.
I just even said to one girl, I go, why are you on this?
Right.
Because it got to a point where I said,
culture.
No, not even.
Really?
You got to meet up to hook up.
Yeah, that's true.
She didn't want to meet up.
But did she think you guys were going to hook up?
Well, I didn't know because we never met up.
This is a cluster. You're right. Go ahead.
So we matched.
Yes.
Talking. Great. Talking a lot.
Texting.
Texting. Yeah, sorry. Okay. That's texting in 2022. This was not 2022. I just realized.
Yeah. Wait. Sorry, Stacey.
This was way back. And yeah, so texting. I'm like, all right, let's catch up. I had an excuse. All right. Had another excuse next time. Had another excuse. And then I go, are we going to meet up at all?
Right.
She's I don't really meet up with people on Tinder. I'm like, why the fuck are you on Tinder then?
You're like, why are we even wasting our time here?
Quite literally. I go, you're just on here for the ego boost.
Pretty much.
I go, you don't even know if I'm real. I could be catfishing. So it's not much of an ego boost if I'm catfishing you.
That's true.
It's, yeah.
I don't understand, like, the texting versus calling thing. I'm a caller, like, I will.
Dude, we'll spend 2 hours on a phone. We're like, we probably should just do a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a caller. I would rather call you and either hear your tone of voice, see what's going on with you, catch up really quickly, get to the business, get the business solved, and then know what our next step is.
Yep.
It never happens for us, but typically we could get that done in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas texting, I just forget to text people back. That's just the truth.
You can't mark them unread anymore. Or no, like that's the thing that annoys me. You can't just go, all right, remark as unread, so I'll visit again later.
Yeah. Well, it's not even that. It's like I'll see it, I'll think of an answer or think of something, and then my dog pees on the floor.
Every time.
Or a work call comes in, or an email I need to answer, and I'm like, oh, I'll do that later. And then it hits me at 6 o'clock at night, and it's been 6 hours. I'm like, oh crap, I better respond to this person. Not my thing. Never has been. So I don't understand why, or like even Snapchatting. So many people are like, oh, I don't text or call. I Snapchat.
So I thought Snapchat was just for dick pics.
No, not in the younger generations, my friend. Like I normally hear this with people.
I thought it died.
Oh, no.
I thought it was just there for Snapchat Premium. So it was like literally porn and dick pics.
No.
Really?
Hannah and I have a really close friend who will only talk over Snapchat Messenger.
Is that because it can disappear after?
I have no idea.
She just needs to use Signal. Signal is the same as like WhatsApp, but you can have it so that after X amount of time, the message disappears.
I don't know if it's disappearing or that's just what she uses. And I've met a few people. They're typically a bit younger than me. So I don't know if it's that younger generation doing it. But they're like, oh, yeah, like Snapchat text me. I'm like.
That's such a mouthful.
Yeah. I'm like, this is just strange. Or I guess they do say Snapchat me. And then I'll Snapchat them and they're like, message me back like, with their fingers. I'm like, why couldn't we just do this over text? Or why couldn't it just.
Oh, to be fair, like I message a lot of people through Instagram.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the same, maybe.
Not necessarily, because I feel
Are we old?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
It sounds like we're a bit old.
I feel like Instagram messaging, though, it has a very specific purpose. Typically, you've sent something, like a post or an example of something, and you're commenting on that, or you're like trying to reach out to someone who you've seen through there about like, hey, like, I almost said like your boobs. Like, that's not what I meant though. Like I meant like your dress.
Those messages always land.
Yeah. Like, hey, I like your dress. Want to do a collab? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like Instagram messaging is.
I'm finding a great way to network with people now is like I'll get a fake account that like those fake account
you're
scams.
One of those.
I get this fake accounts always scamming me.
Yep.
And it'll be like, so one is like this guy, Larry Bennett. I've had 2 scam accounts from him now, not from him, sorry, but it'll be like Larry with 1 R, or it'll be Bennett with 2 N's. And they are copying in real time his posts, his stories. But I got it done once by one person who I was like on the fence, because at first like Zach, I forget his last name, but I really like this dude. He's really entrepreneurial, awesome dude. Starts following me. I was like, cool.
This is
random.
neat.
Yeah. Then he messages me, hey man, how you doing? I'm like, the fuck? This is kind of
so weird.
This is cool, but I'll go with it for a bit. Then as soon as he started hitting me up for a Bitcoin thing, like a business that he's starting and quote unquote, I asked a few more questions, and then I said, and then he said you can start as low as $300. I go, dude, this guy deals in millions. Yeah. He ain't messaging some fucking random Aussie in Florida for $300.
Yep. Nope.
No. And then that's when I realized, I went to his page, and because I'd searched Zach a couple of times before to be like, oh, this is, yeah, okay, cool. And then I realized all the people I follow, you know how it says other people follow this person?
Yeah.
I know that like Logan Paul, George, Janko, Mike Malak, all of them follow him.
Right.
And it wasn't there on this profile. I was like, that's weird. That was the first thing that gave it away for me. Then I realized, wait, hold on. This has 11,000 followers. He has 25, 26. Oh. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so that was the first one. And then after that, it was like whenever I got someone who I know doesn't know me messaging me.
Yep.
I basically just go fake. And so that's become my new networking thing, is like, hey dude, just so you know, this fake account's trying to scam me, and they're like, oh, that's fucking dickheads, blah, blah, blah. Now I've got a connection.
Hey, I was the target, and they almost succeeded, I will give them that, of a Facebook marketplace scammer.
Okay, go on.
So I bought a wedding dress a while ago.
Not on Facebook Marketplace.
Not on Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
And I never got to wear it because our wedding was canceled during COVID.
Fucking COVID.
Yeah, fucking COVID. Anyway, so I go to try to sell it. It's brand new with tags. And I put it on. I'm like, $800. It was originally like almost $2,000. But I'm like, $800. And I wrote in my bio, I just want someone who's going to love it. That's it. It deserves to be worn. And I got this older lady message me on Facebook. And she said, oh my gosh, this dress is perfect for my granddaughter's wedding, I would love to buy it for her. Would you do $750? Sure. Sounds good to me. And she'd said, okay, the issue is I'm older and I can't come get it from your house. Could you ship it to me? And I said, well, like, I've talked to her now for a while, and like, given the circumstances, like, I'll feel comfortable shipping it to you. Fine. Just give me the address and you're going to pay me for the shipping. Said, okay. So I said, but first I need payment.
Yeah.
The money. So I get an email from PayPal.
Continue. I got the exact same story.
Yep. I get an email from PayPal saying Susie blah, blah, blah has paid your invoice for the dress or whatever. It should be in your account in 3 to 5 days. Great. So I go and ship it off. And she's asking for the shipping information. And as I'm doing this, I have this weird feeling that something's not quite right. So I went to go check in my PayPal account again, because even my PayPal account looked like this was pending.
Oh,
yes.
Wow. That's a good scam.
Yes. And it says payment transfer canceled. And I was like, okay, that's weird. And I go and I look at the original email that they sent me, and it wasn't actually a PayPal email at all. Yep. And I'm like, what the? It was PayPal at gmail.com, for example. And you're like, oh, shit. So I run to the post office. I go and I stop the shipment. And luckily, about 4 months later, they were able to ship it back to me. We were able to stop the shipment. But she almost got away with it. So now fast forward to yesterday, I go to list it on Facebook again. In the less than 24 hours I've had it up, I've had already 6 people try to scam me on it.
Really?
Yes.
For wedding dresses?
For a wedding dress.
Interesting.
Yep. And I know, because I was very specific. I said local pickups only. If you can't come to my house, it's not yours. And 6 people already, haven't obviously been on my phone for the last hour, have said, well, I can't come pick it up, but could you ship it to me? No, not again. Go away.
Because the very first scam attempt for me was way back, I was early 20s, maybe late teens, and I really wanted a Ford. No, was it like a Grand Cherokee? And I saw one, and it was in Northern Territory for $5,000. And these things are like 40. I was like,
I'll take it.
Opportunistic teenager. I was like, ooh, and I went to it. And I said, shit, it's in Northern Territory. After I messaged them, they're like, don't worry, it's all good. We can ship it to you in a crate. And then if you like it, it's paid. And if not, don't worry.
Sketchy.
So the thing that they did was, it was this PayPal program that you put it. It's actually a real cool thing. Like, it's like a mediator. You send the money to PayPal. They hold it until you say yes, and then they release the funds. Right. Or you say no, send it back. They confirm it's been sent back. They send back the funds to me. I think, is that my phone? No, that's your phone. Wow.
That has some serious vibrating power.
Did your leg just shake off when you get a text?
Pretty much, I guess. I didn't know I had that type of power. It's just for your podcast, Blake, obviously.
Yeah, it's like, I want to be heard.
Exactly.
So they send me the email that links to an actual, what do you call it? It links to a PayPal website, and it's full legit. Everything is great. But I've got a rule. I always check the URL. And the URL, it almost went undetected, but what it was some very small URL .paypal.com.
Yep.
So you know how you can do like subdomains and that's what it was. And for me, I was like, red flag, boom. Hit up. I basically reported it, and apparently that's like been a common scam attempt. So you send the $5,000 to this PayPal holding service, never get the car. Right.
And then the $5,000's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Judge Judy said it. I don't know. My dad says it to me a lot. Oh, she's my favorite. Anyway, my dad says it to me a lot. I think he learned it from Judge Judy. Is if it seems like too good of a deal, it probably is. And I live through that a lot, I would say. I think that human nature is to always put yourself first. So when you're dealing with other people and it seems like too good of a deal, it probably is, because that other person is taking the other end of it.
Yeah.
And that is not human nature at all. So I would say that if there's anything that I've learned, gotta watch out for them scammers. And I'm always alert for it. I never thought, honestly, that I would be in one of those situations, because I was always taught very, very well. I mean, I'm saying, like, I don't even like deleting emails if they look like scams and this and that. Like, I was always taught really good internet safety and how to look for scams, yada, yada. But this cute little grandma wants to buy a dress for her daughter-in-law. Yep, got me.
That's why it's in those scenarios, you should set up the payment. Because then, I always try, and that's at least a little bit of leverage I try and do with a lot of things. Like even with how I structure the payment plan for my product, it's 25% down deposit.
Absolutely.
To secure the date, and then 25% after that to secure the timeline of 10 days.
Right.
And then 50%. So if they want to cancel at any time, going, you know what, don't worry, I'm still getting paid for the time I did instead of pay for the whole amount at the end, because they could cancel whatever. They could, halfway through going, you know what, just don't worry about it, because they haven't got a dog in the race.
Right.
You know, whereas when you've already spent 25%, you're more afraid of losing that 25% than the rest.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then there's also a chance that I can save their fear, because they haven't quite seen the value yet. Then they see the videos, they're like, oh, these are really good. Yeah,
here's
awesome,
the rest
great.
of your money.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah, the only thing that I would say that is kind of weird, like when you're buying a house, right? There's this thing called the deposit and there's this thing called the down payment, right? So I'm sitting back. I'm like, so you're telling me that I'm about to put $86,000 down on this house, but I have to pay you $3,000 like up front? Like, is my $86,000 that is still going to happen before I get the house not good enough? Why do you need my $3,000? Don't understand it. But I sat there going back and forth with my real estate agent. She's trying to explain it to me. I'm like, this isn't logical. And she's like, well, the down payment, it's like good, but that's more for your loan. This is for like making the seller feel good. Yeah. I'm like,
it's that little hook in the cheek. But on the other side, it is that thing. It's I had to go through that with Stace and her clients, that she was like, she would never, it wasn't like she would book them, but then it wouldn't start for like 4 to 6 weeks later. Right. I go to her, I'm like, get a deposit.
A lot happens.
For so many reasons. One, if they're not prepared to pay, let's say $99 on a $3,000 thing right then and there, they're not doing it.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to like, I'd love to do it. Yeah. And then I'll find an excuse later. Right. I'm not even conscious of that thought process, but I'm gonna find a reason later.
Yeah.
And then again, that $99 non-refundable.
It protects her time.
It's terrible, but it's also, people are more afraid of losing that $99
than spending
the remainder $2,900.
Oh, I completely agree. It's funny you say that, because that's very similar how I am. Like, I don't do, if it's expensive enough that I need to put a deposit down, typically don't do it. But that's just me. But
that's just proof that you're not far enough along the value understanding.
Oh, absolutely.
And it might not be right for you too.
Right. Exactly. Well, I'd say a lot of times, like, for example, my haircuts, right? They're not cheap. But if my hairdresser were to be like, hey, I need a deposit for this time, I'd be like, no.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd be like,
because
right,
things change so quickly. And like, if I'm giving you a cash deposit now and I have to book with her 4 months in advance. How do I know that Blake's day is not going to call me on that day or the day before and be like, hey, I need you here? Yeah. I don't.
Yeah. Because that's the tricky thing for her though.
Oh, and I feel for her.
Because it's like, also, fuck, I just set aside that time and now I could have put someone else in.
But I also, with hairdressing in particular, I might sound like kind of an asshole by saying this. With hairdressing in particular, like, she's never struggled to fill my position because she is so booked out.
That's good then.
So for her, it's kind of a win-win no matter what. Like, she knows she's going to fill it. She has a list of people who would get in sooner. But for me, I'm sitting back, I'm like, my life's too unpredictable. Yeah. I can't guarantee days. As you know, we've tried to plan this podcast for what?
It's been a while. Well, you forgot your mum had a birthday.
Oh yeah, that's true. Sorry, Mom.
I'm outing you right now.
Yes, that's true.
We scheduled it, and then you're like, I'm so sorry. Totally forgot it was my mom's birthday. I was like, that's fair.
Yeah, we were going to Vero Beach. So this wasn't like a show up birthday party thing. This was like we were going on a trip, like a mini vacation as a family. And my grandpa was there, my dad, my sister, me, my husband, everyone. And I just gone.
Just gone.
Yeah, even my husband was like, yeah, I forgot about that too. And we're like, oh no.
It all, to be honest though, there's so much shit we have to remember now.
Yeah.
That it is like if people forget my in-laws, Stace, they're not like that.
Right.
She's already going, what do you want to do for your birthday? I'm like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
But what do you mean? I don't.
Right.
You know? And like, I've been called selfish a lot. But I'm like, but I don't expect that from other people.
Right.
So is that the same definition as selfish? Like, I'm not a gift person. If you get me one, I'm like, oh, fuck, thanks.
Yeah.
But
it's like,
I don't give you the excitement you're expecting.
Yeah.
I don't expect it. Even on my birthday, if we didn't do anything, I'd be like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Let's just go hang. If I work still, which I probably still will, I'd be like, cool.
Right.
But then if I don't do it on the other end, it's deemed self-centered, selfish, and like all those things. But I don't want it for myself.
And I would say that that's why my mom and actually my dad, sorry, Dad, I didn't mean to forget about you. They share a birthday. They're both born March 12th.
Dates also disappear though.
Yes.
You're like, what the fuck? How is it this date?
And that happens to me constantly in my life. But that's why, like, my parents are more like you, where they're very nonchalant about their birthday. They don't expect anything big, but they deserve something.
Yeah.
They do. And so for me showing up, like, I didn't pay for the hotel we were staying at. I went, I brought them some cake, I brought them presents. They did the rest. So for me showing up, that is worth way more than any cake or presents I could have bought them.
Yeah.
And that's what's hard, especially in managing your business life, your friend life, and your family life, as you sit back and you have to manage these things. Whereas, like, you know, work is constantly pulling at you all the time. But then you have to step back and be like, hey, man, I also have people over here that the value of me just being there. They don't want anything else. Heck, I slept half the time I was there. I was so tired. But because I showed up, that meant more to them than anything I could have ever bought them.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it just reminded me that I actually have another trip coming up with them for Mother's Day that I totally forgot about.
Mother's Day.
Yes.
I told Stace, I'm like, I've got a family who I love what they do. You get the present for whatever the kids can afford. I love that. Sometimes I say jokes, but the problem with, unless you're with someone who's like that, they don't hear it as a joke.
Right.
You know? And because Stace goes, oh, Mother's Day is coming up. I'm like, you're not my mother.
Oh my gosh.
But I said that in front of the in-laws too. And it's like, again, they just are like, they take it as
offensive.
Blake being selfish.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny.
Yeah, you're like, I'm laughing my ass off.
Yeah, like the comedy is behind the expectations to the cutting.
Right.
You're not my mom.
Yes, that is. See, I don't know. I have an issue. It's a very positive issue, I think. Whereas I love to celebrate people. I want to make them feel special on whatever day, whether it be their mother.
Well, my birthday is June 6th.
All right. Well, I'm noting it down. Whether it's Mother's Day or their birthday, I like it's almost like, I don't know if you've ever heard of the book, The 5 Love Languages.
Yeah.
My love language is giving to other people. Which I don't even know if that was a 5 love language. I think active service, actually. So, kinda. I mean, it's not like I'm out at the homeless shelters, like, giving them
See,
soup.
I always thought mine was quality time.
You don't think it is?
I think I'm too focused on getting this shit done now.
Yeah.
That it is like, go, 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 go. You know?
Yeah.
And
it's a disease.
It is. But it's also the other, I guess the counterpart of that disease is, all right, don't make money, spend a lot of time with your family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Live off the in-laws. That's rewarding.
That is true.
You know, it's that juggle at the moment which we're trapped in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm like, because what you said
it's
before
giving you
about
focus.
you know, give them time.
Yeah.
They deserve it. I was like, fuck, maybe I had to hear this because
Yep,
the last 2 weeks have been
I got
bad.
you, Stacy. Shout out.
It's hard.
No, it is. And don't get me wrong. I, particularly with my husband and I, in our jobs, that is a constant struggle for us. I mean, he's always saying, why, and this isn't to be negative, but he's like, if someone says jump, you jump. And I'm like, yeah, that's my job. And he's like, okay, but is it your job to jump at 11:30 at night and make a 3-hour drive and to be at a meeting at this time? And I'm like, well, not under traditional job circumstances, no, but you also have to remember, yesterday we were at lunch in the middle of the workday.
That's what I say to Stace. And this is the battle we're having at the moment, in terms of just finding that right spot.
Right.
Always comparing to a normal 9 to 5. You know, but people are home at this time. All right, great.
Yeah.
I don't get paid on my time.
Right.
I get paid on, again, if I tell you guys that I'm going to do videos for you and I don't get them done because I'm like, sorry guys, clocked out a few hours ago.
Yeah.
You're not calling me again.
No. Yeah.
You know, and until I get that momentum where I hire someone else. Like I've just hired a girl to do the clips for this podcast, which frees up fucking like 8 hours a week.
Yeah.
You know? But that has a price too,
Oh,
which means I
absolutely.
need to go out and get more money to then shuffle across. And it's, again, like I came here. I was planning on being here at 8:30, but forgot my wallet and I was going to go home, Stacey, and don't worry, I'll come and bring it out to you, which is very generous. So we ended up having breakfast together.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have to say, hey, I'm running late to someone else.
Right.
That's a blessing. But then there's the other time where I kind of wish I had a boss sometimes so I can remove the blame. Because I'm like, no, I have to get this shit done. It looks bad on me. He's putting work before me because that's my decision, but I know the ramifications of not.
Yeah.
Versus just being like, yeah, my boss. I
funny.
haven't got that out.
It's funny you say that because Hannah and I were just talking about that recently. She was like, I wish I had a boss. She's like, I know it makes no sense because I own the company. I'm the boss. But like, I wish I had a boss to tell me what to do, but wasn't my boss.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at her and I was like, that makes no sense. And she was like, no, it does. And I'm like, okay, explain it to me a little deeper. And she's like, it's just nice to have, sometimes it's nice to have that person who just lists it out for you.
Yeah.
And she's like, and make sure that you stay on top of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're right. I get it. But it comes down to, I feel like work-life balance is one of the most difficult things. And it's very hard in relationships. And then when you're working, I don't want to say untraditional jobs, but like what we both do is a little bit less traditional.
Yeah.
I mean, it's running a business. Any business owner out there would understand.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
Maybe.
I mean, if you like to be in bed by 7, I respect that. But that's not really how it goes around here.
Yeah. It's tough, especially like when it's weekends.
Weekends
People,
are hard.
They don't get it.
Nope.
It's like I have to do this thing.
Right.
And because these things fell over during the week, I've still got this deadline. I need to do it on my Saturday, Sundays. The problem is I'm so happy doing it.
Right.
That's the other problem. Like, and I've
that's
said it
how
before.
I am.
If I had because right now it still is just me. You and I, we link a lot.
Right.
Like, but if I had like a team, I would do 14, 16-hour days
Right.
every day.
Right.
No problems. Because that is who I am.
Right. Yeah.
And it's because I did a thing back in November 2018 and it was all hardcore go-getters. I couldn't have been happier,
Yeah.
you know?
And that's how I feel too. It's interesting because we're kind of in similar positions where it has affected my relationship. Not negatively, he understands it, but it's hard for him to wrap his head around as well.
It's a unique hurdle.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can ask Hannah, Blake, anyone that I'm working with, even you. I genuinely love being out on the road.
Yeah.
And I love learning the new things. I love doing things like this, talking with you. You know, yeah, sometimes there are things that I'm like, oh man, this sucks. But actually the entire time I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
So I love that stuff. But my husband sits back and he's like, well, it doesn't make sense. Like, why are you answering phone right now for a work thing on Saturday? And I'm sitting back and I'm like, because that's just how my job works. I could take
Plus you
half a
enjoy
Friday
it too.
off.
Plus
Yeah.
you enjoy it.
Yeah. And I take like half, like let's say on Friday afternoon, we go to an early dinner with with my mother-in-law. Well, I wasn't working then. So if I have to take a 20-minute phone call now, but I think we finally settled on Sundays are no computer days.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I tried doing that, but always there's something that has to be done still. Because again, I haven't got someone to pay
exceptions.
yet.
There are exceptions, and he's very reasonable about those exceptions. But as much as we can, Sunday is like no computer. We try to stay off our phones, do something with our dogs, the two of us, and just focus on that because every other day is not guaranteed.
Yeah.
I mean, I could leave the next day for a work trip, and that's how it is.
Well, because I'm surprised. Let it out. Mute button. Even when I was with Stace before being married and before having a family, you're giving really hit the back of your throat, huh? You're having a tear.
Yep.
Even if we went out to explore or go on a holiday, I'd be filming.
Yeah.
I'm working still, but the difference I think is because she's part of the project.
Right.
That it's enjoyable for her too. All right, we're going to film. Like, we went to Vanuatu. I filmed 8 days straight.
Yeah.
Go. Find this spot. Do this, do that. Fine. Then when I get to the editing suite, it's like you're up until midnight. I'm like, yeah. And now we're looking back at all the vlogs and she's like, these are so good. And I'm just like, I'm trying to preface future again. I'm like, just so you know, every time I edited those, either like you were angry because it took 6 to 10 hours to edit. Right. But now you're grateful.
Yeah.
I'm editing all this stuff. So later it'll be hopefully better. You know, like I'm just about to finally do another vlog with Sienna where I looked after her for a day because Stace was just having a moment. Poor thing was just I got
just needed some rest. Alone time.
And she goes through a lot. Yeah. But I was like, all right, I'll bring a camera with me. Because as I'm doing something, I can just plonk it and just do whatever, and then I'll edit around it later. And it came out kind of funny.
Good.
It's kind of cute.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, my big thing is like, so yours with Stacy is like, well, you like it now. See, my big thing is, and it doesn't come out often. It kind of sounds mean. I said, all right, I'll just call Blake right now and tell him I'm done. And you can have all my attention. And then he looks at me and he's like, excuse me? And I'm like, yeah, like if you are so concerned that I'm spending too much time working, like I would love to sit on my butt all day and go out and hike and go swimming or do whatever. Yeah. So fine, I'll call him right now. You can have all of my attention.
You'd still be doing things though.
I would. I can't stop moving.
That's the thing. I've said it to Stacey. I'm like, even if I got paid, because she's like, oh, if you earned this much money, would you be happy? Yeah. And I go, no. Right. And I don't mean that in like I'm like, it's not like the money is important to me because it's a representation of achievement. Right. In a way. Also, it's like, all right, cool. That money can go to this to like relieve that stress. Right. Like, all right, you need some time you need some time to yourself. I can't be there. Let's pay for someone to look after her that we trust. Those things help. But again, it's like I already said to him, like, just so you know, I'm never retiring. Yeah. I'm going to put that out there right now. Right. Because again, it's even if I don't have this, I have something else that I'm intensely focusing on, and that's where apparently is my Asperger's part of it. Yeah. But again, before we're over here, I was doing videos, doing vlogs, doing it, and I'd work fucking hours. Yeah. 50% of it was for free. Right. And
I would say that that's one of the things like I really look up to Blake Day for is, I mean, and you've seen it. He constantly is going. It doesn't matter.
He's on a whole new level.
Oh yeah. and as someone who works with him, I sit back and I'm like, holy crap. Like I thought I was a mover.
I saw that like I was kind of jealous. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. I was kind of jealous because I'm like, oh, he has things to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Minus the flying. The flying I could probably do with a little bit less.
Yeah, right. A lot. Oh no, and that's something I've always looked up to him about because and I think this is why we all get along very well in our not on here life. I mean, we get along here too. Anyway, I digress. Because we're all movers. None of us like to sit still. I mean, I can tell you don't like to sit still. I hate sitting
It's
still.
probably longest we've sat still.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I started a teaching certificate. That's why, I physically cannot not have a lot of things going on. It's one of my biggest, I would say, downfalls and one of my greatest personality traits.
Yeah.
Blake's the same way. If it's not moving, he's struggling. Hannah even, same way. We all are movers and groovers. And I would say but Blake takes it to another level. And you sit back and I'm like, I look like a legitimate couch potato compared to him. And it's very impressive how his brain, because he doesn't, mind you, I manage his calendar for the most part, and the calendar barely works. We barely use it. So somehow.
That happened when we were in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I think I might go to Texas soon. 3 hours later. I'm going to go to Texas in a few hours. What?
Oh, yeah. What? Oh, that whole Texas thing. Oh, my gosh. Don't even get me started. I spent hours on the phone booking all these different flights, trying to figure it out. Oh, that's Blake. That's totally. And I think it's really, really cool. Now, could I do it the same way? No. I mean, I have physical things that my body can't do it.
If you take my family out of it,
Yeah.
I can do it.
Yeah.
Like that, like I said, I was watching that, and I'm not in terms of like I was jealous because I had a family.
Right.
It was more like that is me. I see it, I go and I do it.
Yep.
There was this weird astrology thing that Stacy made me go and do. All that astrology shit I find hocus pocus.
Oh,
this
yeah,
was
me
some
too.
like body design thing. Scary fucking accurate.
Oh, really?
To the point where it was so on point. It wasn't like one of those things like you're gonna have something good happen in the next week. All right, fucking
All right.
blood.
Yeah, I'm getting a free
Vague.
coffee. Woo!
Yeah. It was so accurate in terms of whatever I focus on, I just go and do it.
Right.
You know, and it's no one can stop me. And if you try and stop me, the way I deal with it is anger.
I do the opposite.
It'd be interesting to get you to it because her one super accurate. Like she wants a super strict schedule. So it's like, again, Blake, I need you home at how long will it take until you finish editing that video? It is so vast because there's constant, like I can set aside 3 hours, but if I get in a flow,
It's
going to be 4, 5, 6,
Yeah.
you know? And then I need to revisit it again with fresh, like
Right.
all these things. But that's how she operates. She wants a clear schedule. Whereas if she's 3 minutes off, done. I'm gonna waste the next 57 minutes.
Wow.
Whereas with me, last week, for example, I had a meeting with a meeting over the phone with someone at 10, and I was like, I was gonna wait, do some work, and then go phone, gym after that. He didn't really remember, so I was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I was like, he goes, I can call you later. No worries. Went to the gym before,
Right.
and then I called him while I was in my car, just
I
the side of the
love phone
road.
calls
You know,
in the car.
I was just calling and
Yeah.
I was telling him why I just pulled over after my gym session because he even got pushed back another 20 minutes. So I'm like, great, extra 20 minutes to the gym.
Yeah.
Stacey doesn't operate like that. It's boom, throw it all away
Gotcha.
to the point where like, after a while, it's like there's a backlog where it's like all these times you've thrown that away, you'd have 100 hours of training, 100 hours
Right.
of work or stuff like that.
Right.
And this was all on that. It was weirdly accurate.
Oh, that's
Very
interesting. The one thing I will say about me and like working is I've had some injuries. We've talked about it in the past. And my brain works at a different speed that my body can. So my brain might be wide awake and ready to go. My body's like, dude, don't get out of bed. It's going to be a bad day.
All right.
Oh, yeah. So I find myself, in that battle between the brain and the body often.
Yeah.
And I know that's something you really are into, the body type of stuff.
Oh, it's real.
Yeah.
If I sleep 2 nights in a row for 6 hours, like 6 and then 6.
Yeah.
Like how Blake operates, bro.
Yeah.
That part I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I will feel
couldn't- I
sick.
can't do
I'll
it.
have a headache.
Yeah.
I'll be moody. It's bad.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And that's the part where I definitely lack is I don't know what I would do if I couldn't get sleep. I
Yeah.
think I would probably spontaneously decombust. Like, not even kidding. Because my body would be like,
But that's what you should be doing is always just treating yourself like a science experiment.
yeah.
I know I hate hate daylight savings.
Oh yeah, me too.
Like next level, because I've noticed that it throws off during winter months. Love it. Bed by 9:30 because the sun started.
Right.
It started going down, so it set my circadian rhythm of, all right, in the next 3 hours you're going to go to sleep.
Oh, absolutely.
Great. I have a good sleep. Wake up. This was even with Sienna, you know, through the winter months. Even if we woke up here and there, fine.
Right.
I'd wake up at sometimes 6 o'clock, 5:30, go to the gym. Now, circadian rhythms don't kick in until 8. I start getting tired at 11 or 12.
Yep.
I go to bed at 11 or 12. I want to still wake up at 6, but my anxiety is super up.
Right.
Because of lack of sleep. Like anxiety and depression, like basically mood swings.
Absolutely.
So high right now. And this is where I'm like, anxiety is my belief is it's a reaction to the environment. But yeah, my anxiety right now is so fucking through the roof.
Yeah.
Where my sleeping is insane. I wake up borderline, not suicidal, but it's like those thoughts are like swinging through me and I'm just like, what the fuck? 5 minutes after being awake, I'm like, all right, we're good.
Right. But that initial wake up. And I think
It's
I
so
deal
crazy.
differently. My initial wake up, it's interesting you see that, is I wake up in the morning and I never know. Like I'm sitting there and I'm like a paralyzed little duck. I'm like, okay, is it going to hurt? When I move, is it going to hurt? And I wiggle my toes. I'm like, yes, that doesn't hurt. All right, let's work our way back up. Ooh, the back's a little sore. Okay, but we can work with it. And then I move my neck. I'm like, ah, shit. It's done. And so then I get up and I'm more slow to start. But once, I deal with the pain on a daily basis. That is nothing new for me. But there are days that are better than others. And so once I can get my body moving, I just have to keep telling myself over and over, it's going to be a good day. You're going to get through this today. It's fine. And typically I'm able to get myself to a point where I'm like, let's go. And, for me, that's sitting at my computer at home, being a keyboard warrior, typing up my stuff. But it's still like, even that, like I am trying to get out of the habit of working on the couch. Because when I work on the couch, I got my dogs cuddled up.
Fucks your back up.
Oh yeah, well,
big time.
It screws your back up, and I've got my dogs.
But dags.
And my dogs. I got my dogs on my feet. I got my fluffy blanket on. The TV, Judge Judy, my girl, running in the background. I've got my computer.
You can focus with all that shit on?
Oh yeah, I have to have TV on. I even sleep with the TV on.
Jesus.
My brain
You might be on the spectrum too.
That's possible.
You probably should speak to my...
I should probably speak to your girl.
Because she will read a book
Yeah.
with Bob's Burgers in the background.
Interesting.
How the fuck can you do that?
I don't know if I could do that.
No. But see, that's where I'm like the opposite, where I'm like, don't fucking talk to me. And that's when I'm in my zone.
Oh, see, not me.
Because I'm like laser.
Not me. Like, I could be laser focused.
Yeah.
I'm laser focused. But you've got Judge Judy talking in the background. My dogs are barking. My husband's trying to tell me what we're having for dinner. My phone's ringing at the same time. And I thrive. I'm like, yeah, this is good.
Oh, no. Maybe, but it's because that's why it's funny, because when I look back in high school, I loved math. Made sense.
Can't relate.
But it was like, I didn't like being told I was wrong about something that is subjective, like English.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't go to an artist, even a musician, and go, his music sucks, because, well, then why do the other 100,000 people like his music?
Yeah.
You know? And that's what I didn't like about English.
It's like when you get a C in art class. You're like, I did art.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Meanwhile, you go to a freaking museum and they have some stick painting that's worth $20 million.
And you're like, wait a second.
What?
I get a C on my masterpiece and this person.
Rich?
Yeah, what the heck? I want to redo in life.
Yeah, I hated those subjects. Whereas math, it was like, all right, these are just building blocks.
Right.
And so, all right, cool. I'm right or I'm wrong, but you can tell me where I went wrong and why.
Yes.
Whereas art, it's like, well, you didn't put a comma here. Fuck. Like, now it's just ironic, so I'm a grammar Nazi.
You used too many colors.
So it's interesting now seeing where we're going with this.
Yep.
Fuck, I've lost this. There was something to do with building blocks.
There was definitely something, but I got distracted with the $22 million painting. Like, I'm still upset. Yep, can't tell you. That's
I
how
don't
our
know.
conversations go.
No, I'm gonna get this.
All
These
right.
building blocks.
Aha!
You were talking
Sorry.
about the breaking down of like, distractions, everything.
Oh, yes.
So I do building blocks with my day. Boom. So I basically the start of the day, I always go, okay, binoculars on. What do I need to achieve for the day, which will help me on my goals for the month, the year. So I reverse engineer everything.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, in this day, I have these 3 or 4 things I have to get done and a bunch of little micro ones. I'll usually do all the micro ones first. Then I'm like, all right, 2 hours, smash this big one.
Right.
Don't fucking talk to me. Don't distract me. Because again, this is where I'm super obsessed with too much shit sometimes. I know that a distraction of 1 minute is like a 15-minute distraction of getting back into flow.
Yeah.
And that's what happens a lot. And working from home, can't do it.
Yeah.
I've tried it. It doesn't work for multiple reasons. I'm on a computer all day.
Yeah.
No one thinks you're working. Like even your phone.
Oh,
your
yeah.
phone now.
That's
if
a
you
constant
see someone on your phone, on their phone, we still assume texting, goofing off, fucking around.
Right.
When it's like,
No, I'm actually sending a work email.
yeah.
No,
And that's what I get all the time. That
big thing.
oh, you're always on your phone. I'm like, sometimes it's a waste of time.
For sure.
But I just secured another business meeting while I was taking a dump.
Right.
You couldn't do that before the phone.
Oh, exactly.
I'm not taking my laptop in on the...
And I was worried you guys thought I was taking a dump because I was sitting there finishing out an email, just sitting there. And
or I'm
like,
learning Spanish.
Yeah.
On Duolingo.
You never know. Sometimes it's just nice to take a seat.
True.
Duh.
Until your legs tingle.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see my post the other day?
Yes, it was funny
That
you said
actually
that.
happened to me. I was just sitting. I wasn't even on the toilet long. But all of a sudden, my right leg
Everything
starts tingling.
Blood flow.
Just, And I stood up and I had to hold the wall because I was like, whoa,
Right?
this shit's getting shaky.
Yeah. I don't know. It's funny you say that people think you're not working if you're working from home. That is something that is my like arch nemesis in life because I get that constantly. Like not even just from my husband, but from other people. They're like, well, why are you so tired? Like you sat at home all day.
That's also
Are
fucking
you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, for you on the outside, I sat at home all day. But in reality, I took about 45 phone calls, dealt with 5 issues, listened to Blake for about 25 minutes, try to figure out what we're doing there. And not to mention the roofing company, managed their books, did all this different stuff. So yeah, for you, I'm sitting at home. And granted, I am at home in my PJs watching Judge Judy while I work. But for me, I probably did more in that time period than I would have done ever in an office.
Yeah.
Ever.
It's because of all those micro distractions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm, again, trying to just figure out, I want to find an office. Probably I'll double it up as a studio.
Yeah.
But that's the big thing is I want to be locked in a room. Don't fucking talk to me, depending on what I want.
Right.
To get done. But again, also with this job, it's like you're going out, you're networking.
Yep.
Why are you networking? 'Cause they pay
Networking
their
is the
bills.
number one.
Yeah.
Well, so with that, like, don't fucking talk to me, blah, 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 bullshit thing. How do you, like, what is your take on it when you hire other people? Like, how are you going to make sure that they respect that time where you're like,
The way I'm building it up is more... So the cool thing about a lot of my shit, so the girl that I just hired to edit my shorts...
yeah.
Short videos, not my pants. She's in Miami.
Oh,
So
okay.
originally I had a guy that I hired in Atlanta,
Right.
but he was trash. Like in 3 days, he didn't get back to me, and I was like, "Fuck off, you're done."
Yeah.
Whereas with her, it's like it's quite literally, I go through it, take out the clips, send her the raw files, and then we have a team project through Adobe, and she'll edit it in Miami.
Gotcha.
I open it up, look at it, replace the files with the higher quality files instead of the low bits, and then I just export it, and that's it.
Okay.
It's quite
So
literally...
it doesn't matter. They're
Nah.
not going to be up your
No.
booty hole.
No.
Oh,
And that's the cool thing. It is like, because I'm more just like, hey, I need you to do this.
Right. It's more task driven,
Yeah.
not generalized duties.
Nah.
Yeah.
And it's, I'd love to get to a point where I've got another person who's just like, go with me.
Right.
But usually when you find someone like that, they've already got their own shit going on anyway.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that's kind of where, like, with day adjusting, we're going. I mean, Blake needs someone go with them. And that's kind of been my role throughout it. So I'm going to be learning how to go a little bit more. And I'm excited. I look forward to it. I really do. I enjoy the environments we are in. I enjoy the people I meet, like you. And the networking is incredible. I mean, like, after this, I'm going to pick up some labels for a last minute project that we're having done. The guy literally had a day to get them done. I met him at a networking event and he got them done. Like, those connections that you make, they're invaluable, and you never know when you're going to use them.
100%.
And it's awesome.
Yeah. What's going on with the videos, by the way?
You're going to need to call Blake on that one. No, I don't know.
No, I mean, as in, like, the one just posting the ones.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's gay.
Yeah, that's, I know. Well, they're ready to go.
Well, yeah, they have been.
I know.
12 weeks.
Blake, I've been...
You're
putting me on the spot here. Maybe you should call Blake and see what he thinks.
I'll call him, Blake. Bro,
because
the powers in the magnitude and multitude of it.
He listens to me about a lot of things, but there are also things that are just on Blake's schedule, and that's okay. He deserves to have a schedule. He doesn't get off that. He doesn't get much of that.
Yeah, maybe I'll call him and just be like, hey, if you need me to lighten the load, let's chat. Yeah, because I get that. Like, he's got a fuckload on. Where it is more one of those things where it was cool that he noticed the, like, changing the state stuff. That was good.
Yeah.
But the thing now is just getting the ball rolling, because I mean, I look at it, and this is outside of my business. It's like, if he's got all this stuff starting to roll, and then we're creating more again,
right?
You know, because he's got 16 in the can.
Yeah, the videos are fantastic. They're ready to go. The hard part I found, and this is from my perspective, is Blake is very hands-on in his company, which is wonderful. I think that is what makes it very successful. But that also comes at a cost. Things take a little bit longer sometimes. So for us, when we're trying to do the social media, and he has every right to do so, it's his face on it. Yeah. You know, we're working through the process of, like, you know, he's watching them, he's coming up with the caption, and then to get it posted. And unfortunately, and that's why initially it was more of my, like, initially social media was supposed to be something that I was running. Yeah. But however, with Blake's love and absolute, like, I respect him 100% for wanting to be 100% involved in the company in all avenues, you know, that's going to take a little bit longer, because I can't just do it on my own. I can't think about it. He wants to make sure that everything looks good and appropriate, and I agree. So it's not, and also with Blake, as you know, sometimes it's not just like a phone call type of thing. You could get him on the phone and it's awesome. Like, I'll give him this. He always calls you back. Yeah. But he could get on the phone with you and be like, oh crap, I gotta take this. And,
well, his phone's always going off.
Oh, constantly. I can't imagine. Like,
it's like, even when we were, like, in the car, he was like, you know, not on the phone. He had
his headset in.
He was safety. Yeah. But it was just funny because he's like, I have 2 missed calls during that phone call. I'm like, Jesus.
Oh yeah. And I think my phone's constantly blowing up. Good golly. Every time I'm with him, that was weird. Good golly.
What are you?
Good golly. Goodness gracious. Every time I'm in the car with him and I see his phone, I'm like, I can't.
Gives you anxiety.
I would throw it in the ocean or something. I would just be like, stop calling me.
Well, that's why I don't even do emails. Like, I tell people, email me, but don't expect a fast reply. Yeah. Because, I mean,
I even prefer email over texting.
I prefer email because you can just batch it. Yeah. You know, like, I love how I say batch it, but everyone thinks I say batch shit. Batch it.
Batch it.
Like BATCH.
Yeah. Not batch shit.
No. Batch it. I just say batch them.
Like a batch of cookies.
Yes.
It.
Yeah. You don't cook one cookie at a time. You cook, well, that'd be very slow. I do that with emails.
One big cookie.
Maybe. Okay. But I do that with emails. Check them in the morning, maybe. Yep. Maybe. Check them in the afternoon, that's it. Because you've never emailed an ambulance.
Can you explain what you mean by that?
You never email an emergency. And people that do so, you know what I mean? Like, you
don't email 911 and say, send me an ambulance.
Yeah. Hey. ATTN colon. Attention, help. No one does that. And so when people are like, hey, I sent you an email, like, when? Oh, this morning. All right, bro. Like,
Yeah.
expect a reply in 48 hours.
Right.
Because I take, again, this is where I'm like, minimize distractions as much as possible. My phone, I don't get any notifications for emails.
Right.
No badges, no sounds, no vibrating,
Really?
nothing. Even on my computer. My computer, I ripped them off as well. So I have to consciously check my email. Because in this book, Irresistible, it talks about that. Even that tiny bing.
Yeah.
Now you're thinking about it. You're not even, they've done studies with a phone. If a phone is face down, but like if we had a phone here like that, both you and I are focusing on that a little bit now.
Right.
We actually, I can feel I'm focusing on that. Same with the notification. If a notification pops up, now you're typing your email.
Yeah.
You're thinking about it.
Absolutely.
That shit compounds. And now, maybe I'll go check it.
Yeah.
Versus if it never comes up, I'm just going to go, all right, I'll go check it. I'll go through and I'll batch them.
Yeah.
That's better. Batch them.
them.
And I just knock them all down. I've now done in 15 minutes what in distraction time for like, would have been 45 to an hour.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're lucky.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and it's funny you say that because like I just got an Apple Watch, right?
Oh, I will never get one.
See, well, I like it because I can be like doing something that's not related to whatever I need to be doing. And I can look down and be like, uh-oh. Hi. So I do like it and it tracks my steps. So that was the main reason for me getting it. But I feel my Apple Watch vibrate when it hasn't vibrated.
Yeah. Those ghost vibrations.
Yes. And it's very creepy. So I'm like sitting there, I'm like, I know it vibrated, but why don't I have a notification? And you sit there and you're like, oh crap.
Listen to the audiobook Irresistible.
Okay.
It'll probably change a fuckload of what you do.
Yeah.
In a good way. Because we're all, it goes into that efficiency stuff, but also addiction.
Okay.
So I used to be like that. Like I thought, having a lot of shit going on is great. The more that I started fine tuning that stuff and cutting out the distractions, I was like, fuck, I get way more done.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And yes, there's still that part where I'm like, I need to get more done. And I still get distracted a bit where April was the first month I flopped, but I've been doing the first week of every month, no Instagram, just delete from my phone.
Yeah.
The reason I didn't this month was because I've been posting and it's not like YouTube Shorts where you can just schedule. I just post and ghost and like schedule it out.
Posting ghost.
Yeah.
We should get t-shirts that say that.
I can't. Rogan already says it all the time.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But he, sorry. Reels and TikToks you can't schedule, which is so
Have you looked into
annoying.
Hootsuite?
Yeah. Hootsuite usually ends up fucking up your algorithm though, apparently. And Reels, you can't tap into Reels or TikTok, I don't think.
Really?
Yeah.
Making note.
Because
we were looking at
don't quote me on that.
Hootsuite.
Hootsuite, all I know is you could do videos and posts, and they got into stories for a bit, but they were never good. And Reels, I don't know, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, we're looking into some sort of platform that does it for us, as you know, like we set them up and.
Yeah, Reels is good for organic growth.
Okay.
Like most of I post every day. It seems to be like 7 or 8 a.m. and I'll get a few thousand views per one. Okay. Every time I post in the afternoon,
nothing.
Nah, nothing compared to
the morning.
But then TikTok doesn't make sense either.
Yeah, TikTok's a big wild.
Like I'm barely getting freaking 400 views now, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
the mom that's like, I'm the crunchy mom gets like 18 million.
My views are barely getting 400 at the moment, and I'm like, this makes no sense because I have videos that have 100,000 to 10 million views.
Yeah.
And just the last few, maybe it's just the morning. Maybe I should test. I'm going to test afternoons again.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, it's funny because you sit back, like when I was in, I know algorithms have changed, but when I was in middle school, right, and Instagram was like kind of the new cool thing. And everyone talked about how you only post at 5:00 p.m. to get the most likes. And like I was even till recently, like it was almost subconscious. I'm like, well, I can't post it yet. It's too early in the day.
Yeah.
Not that I really cared about likes, but you're like it was subconscious, and it was true that if you posted something around 11 in the morning, you're gonna get like 12 likes. Or you posted it at 5 or between 5 and 6, 200 likes.
And then TikTok was like best post school finishing. So like basically 15 minutes before, so it'd be 2:45 or something.
Right.
But then that seems to change. Like my multiple million view videos have been 6 to 7 p.m. on the weekends.
On the weekend.
Yeah. But then I post again.
Yeah.
And I just,
yeah.
you know, and
I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to TikTok.
it goes off watch time. It's similar to algorithm to YouTube. So if your average view time is real high,
like your personal view time
for the video. So say I watched all of it.
Right.
You watched 1 second of it. The average is like 50%.
Right.
You want to have a high percentage view rate across it, and it's constantly evaluating that to deem what's popular. Then I'll push it out.
So you're saying when I scroll past someone's video, like I see the first 5 seconds, scroll past that's affecting them?
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't feel bad.
I do.
Don't feel.
Because normally it's like the crunchy moms or like the...
Yeah, but they have so many people that watch the whole amount that it ain't going to affect their average.
Yeah, you're right. Why do I feel bad? I'm silly.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
But all those things go into it, and the shit you think's going to pop sometimes just doesn't. You're like, what the fuck? Like those how does it taste videos?
Oh, so funny. I was watching them on
Flops.
yesterday. Really?
Flops. Absolute flops.
Well, like 10 of your views are from me because I watched them like 16 times.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That counts for 1,000% watch time.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
But yeah, those ones flopped.
Right.
And the ones that I'm just like, haha, over my shoulder,
Yeah.
1 million views. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But if I don't have, like I've started putting my business stuff into it, if I don't have it in there, I'm just attracting people that aren't going to convert.
Right.
So, and I'm not, all the entertainment people, that's all taken up.
Right. Right.
You know? So I'm just focusing now on having curated, having not curated,
right.
throwing everything in there. And then, cool, if the trashy shit pulls in someone and they see my curated, they're like, gross.
Right.
I'm not into that. Whatever. But then the trashy thing pulls in someone who is interested and they see my curated, they're like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And I feel like also something that's kind of weird about all of the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, is they all hit such a different age group, in my opinion. Now, I know like for TikTok, there are older people who really do enjoy it, but you're typically really hitting that like 15 to 25 right there.
It's aged up.
It has.
Yeah. It started aging up before COVID.
Really?
I had a guy.
So what is the top age they're saying?
I think it's around late 20s, early 30s now.
Okay.
It's
going up.
Everything ages up.
Like Instagram.
Instagram started with 12s.
Yeah.
Now it's, Facebook started with college kids, went down a bit, went up.
And then went back up.
And now it's Facebook's so up that it's like, Grandma, why are you still on Facebook?
Yeah. Well, my grandma and I talk a lot over Facebook. So
it's a great messenger tool.
Yes.
I've again, removing distractions, got rid of Facebook and just kept their app. That was the worst move by Facebook, by the way.
Oh, really?
Separating Facebook and Messenger into two separate apps, dumb idea. Because now, like, the only reason I haven't deleted Instagram for my personal efficiency is because of Messenger.
Right. Yeah.
The second they did,
because now you just deleted the Facebook app and you can use the Messenger and it doesn't matter.
My Messenger is just like a WhatsApp for me. Like that's how I message people back home. But no one really uses it back home. Everyone seems to use Facebook Messenger.
Really?
Yeah.
Because when I was in Spain, it was all WhatsApp.
Yeah. Europe, love WhatsApp.
Yeah. What's your WhatsApp?
Right?
Okay. It's
my same as myself.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, really, guys? Like, it was weird too. I mean, that's how I talked to my family back home, and because I was over there for about 3 months, and
Pero tú no hablas español.
Nada.
¿Por qué no?
No.
Es muy divertido hablar.
No.
Okay.
No, I actually didn't speak Spanish. I've been to Spain over my entire life now. I've spent about almost 4.5 months in Spain,
Mm.
almost 5 months. Can't speak a lick of Spanish.
Really?
Yep.
Dude, you live in America. I love when people go like, why are you learning Spanish? We live in America. I'm like, have you met most of your citizens?
Yeah. Nope, can't speak a lick of Spanish. I was really lucky both my trips. I had awesome people with me that were fluent.
Yeah.
So I was learning a little bit. Like, I knew how to order my own breakfast, but I could only order that. Coffee con leche.
Café con leche.
That's what I said. It's been a few years, all right? So I could only order coffee with milk and the croissant, because croissant is croissant.
Croissant.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's all I ate every morning.
But no sugar, no azúcar?
No, because the last time I did try to order it once with sugar and the lady laughed at me. So I never tried to do that again.
So insecure.
My accent is not good. My Spanish teacher was
dude,
like,
you got an Aussie?
Oh,
like
yeah.
I have an Aussie Spanish accent.
Oh yeah,
that's
a mind fuck. No, my Spanish teacher was like, I'm so happy that you're passing my class and getting out of here because your accent is atrocious. And I was like, you know what? You're giving me an A. I'm gonna walk out happy. Like I'm not even. That doesn't even hurt me. I tried.
Yeah, I don't. It's fun learning a language. Plus, dude, Spain have wicked TV shows on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
dude. La Casa de Papel, I'm obsessed.
Really?
Money Heist, oh.
Really?
Bruh. So we watched it in English dub first, and then I've started watching it again in Spanish. Oh. And it's funny because like Stace is watching it after 5 seasons of hearing the dubbed voice.
Right.
She hears the actual voice. She's like, his voice just doesn't suit him. I'm like,
does she speak Spanish?
No, not a bit. She's starting to get better because I speak it to her all the time. I'd be like, disculpe mi esposa, esposa bonita. She's like, what?
Excuse me?
But I
don't know.
Always practicing.
I can't do dubbed things. Like, what's it called?
You get numb to it after like the first few episodes, and then you don't really like. It's your brain does this weird detachment thing. It's like subtitles.
Right.
You know how like you're watching it, but you're kind of reading the subtitles more than watching it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You kind of start listening more than you're watching it.
Interesting. What was that really big show that's dubbed? The one where the doll shoots people.
The doll shoots people?
Yeah, there's like a big doll.
Oh, Jesus, why am I blanking on this?
Game.
Squid Game.
Squid Games. That was one of the only shows and there's another one I'm thinking of as well. I've watched 2 shows that I've actually been able to successfully get through with dubs. What I find is I always feel like the voice does not even semi-match like the person's character, and that just like sends me over the edge. Like
it also has this weird reverb to it.
Yeah.
They always have a weird, odd reverb.
Right.
Where you're like, what are you trying to do? Like,
right.
They're not singing.
Sense. Yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, and so like both my husband and I have some hearing issues. So like for subtitles, we love subtitles. Like we've always watched subtitles, particularly him. Mine is more recent because when I went to New Orleans, I popped my eardrum.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. But for him, like he has some hearing loss in one of his ears. And so we always have the subtitles on. So we're like reading and we're like, yeah, we read today.
See, I'm doing that now. I'm watching Elite, which is a Spanish. It's funny, like this. It's a Spanish show again, but it has like 4 of the people from Money Heist.
Gotcha.
But I'm watching that in Spanish, and it's cool. Like I pick up a lot of shit, but then it's like anything with a language. Everyone's like, oh no, they speak real fast in Spanish. Every language is like that if you don't know it.
Absolutely.
Right now, if someone is learning English listening to this podcast,
honestly, English is kind of fast.
Same shit.
English is fast for me sometimes. I looked at my husband yesterday, and he was speaking.
We're 2 hours in. You're having a little bit of a stroke now.
I'm out. No, he said something to me, and I knew it was in English, and I knew he said it clearly and right because sometimes there's issues with that. But I was like, I'm gonna need you to repeat that real quick because I'm
having a moment.
Have no fucking clue what you just said to me. And he's like, are you being a jackass? Like, are you making fun of me? I'm like, no, I'm telling you that I know you spoke English. I know you said it clearly, but I have no clue what you just said. Like, no clue.
People just do that though.
Oh, it was like scary.
I'll do it to Stace all the time and she'll do it to me. Like she was talking yesterday in the plane, looking out at the window. So you got out. She's looking
She's
that
looking
way
away.
and saying like something, and I'm like, huh? She's like, no, 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 no. I'm like, turn your head. I sound like a dick right now, but turn your head and look at me.
Oh, that's every day. Like, that's every day in our household. He'll be cooking or something. I'll be talking to him and he'll be like, I can't hear you. And I'm like, getting in front of him.
Do you yell from a different room?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I hate that.
Babe!
Stace does that.
I need some baby wipes.
I end up just pretending like I'm not listening now.
Oh, see, that would.
See, she'll start yelling
I'll
at
start
me.
calling him on his phone.
She has done that to me too.
Yeah. Oh,
that,
no.
that I'm okay with.
Yeah.
But don't yell at me, because if I can slightly hear her yelling at me, if it's not fear,
Yeah.
I'm like, can't hear you. Like, learn your lesson.
Oh, yeah.
Call me from the other side of the house, or like, because I'm not getting in that yelling match of like, ah.
See, that's the worst. That's the worst part with ours. I'm like, babe, and he'll be like, I can't hear you. And I'm like,
So you
babe.
so you yell louder.
He's like, I'm telling you, I can't hear you right now. And we're doing it as we're getting closer to each other. We're both yelling. And then finally we're in the same room and he's like, what do you need? And I'm like, that was dramatic for no reason.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, enough of that. That was 2 hours.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, time flies. You're going to have a lot of missed calls. I swear I could hear it vibrating.
I'm sure I do.
Yeah. Oh, just do some throat talking. Cool. So, if anyone's still listening, you work for day adjusting. We didn't really touch on that, but you got a lot of stuff out of it, I think.
Yeah.
They do a lot of day.
Yeah.
Where can they reach you if they want to reach you or day adjusting?
Yeah, absolutely. They can give us a call.
How? What's the number?
8.
Now you're blacking out, are you?
I am. It's been 2 hours.
It'll be in the description.
Yeah, and you can always email us at contact@dayadjusting.com or reach out to me personally at jordan@dayadjusting.com.
There you go. All right, cool.
Sorry about the phone number. It'll be in the description.
It'll be in the description,
Blake,
guys.
don't be too mad.
It's 2 hours in. Your brain is fried.
My brain's done.
All right, guys. Till next time.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Wow, it's a whole new... Wow, I'm talking loud.